Hey y'all, it's Ali from Little Hill Homestead. Today is apple day. We have been kind of doing full days where we do, pears or peaches or whatever it is, and today happens to be apple day. But we had 20 pounds of apples from Azure Standard that we got. They were like an organic Honey Crisp, and then we had a bag that we got from Costco, some other kind of organic apples that were in the fridge forever that I needed to use up. And then we had a bunch of Granny Smiths. So in total, we ended up with 40 pounds. 40 pounds, you guys. We're doing 40 pounds of applesauce. I've got it just going in my roaster. My husband was awesome. He used that little, we have this apple peeler slicer thing that does it all in one time. You just spin it and it does it all for you. He did 40 pounds of apples in about 20 minutes. Pretty good, right? So I have our apples that are peeled. It spiralizes them basically. So that's what you end up with. So those are going in the roaster.
Thank you.
Those are going in our roaster. I have it I'm kind of just watching it. It's taking a while. We're doing some smoked pork for dinner tonight, and we're going to do the applesauce with it. So I don't want to rush it. I don't mind it taking some time. But this video is not going to be about applesauce, you guys, because I've already shown you that. I'll link it below. So we're not doing applesauce. We are, but we're not for this video. So I'll link that one for you guys. But we like to use everything, right? Our whole thing is use the scraps, use the cores, use it all, right? So this video is going to be about what you can do with apple peels and cores and all the good stuff, right? So you've seen us do apple scrap vinegar. I don't need any more. I have a pear one going right now, so I'm maxed out on vinegars right now, you guys. And the other thing we have done is apple scrap jelly. That's pretty easy, but I still have 8 jars from last year, so I don't need that. Yeah. Anyways, you just boil the peels and cores, you strain it off, and then you use that juice to make jelly. It's really easy. So I was trying to think outside the box of things what can you do that's not the traditional? Okay. So the first thing we're doing is I have our little Septree. This is my little countertop dehydrator. I use it. This thing's awesome because it's really low noise, low heat. So this is the one that I grab when I'm doing small batches like this. So I am dehydrating the apple peel. So this is what we get after we spiralize our apples. It's just long strings. I have that going in our food dehydrator. I don't know. It's probably the skins of maybe 12 apples in total. I have it going at 140 degrees, 135, 140 degrees. That will probably take 8 to 12 hours is my guess. What are we going to do with dehydrated apple peels? Well, you can eat them, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how we make an apple pie sugar. What is apple pie sugar? I keep answering my questions with questions. Anyways, remember whose line is it anyways? So we are going to, once these are dry, we are going to run them through a coffee grinder to make basically an apple powder. And we are going to add it to some sugar and some spices and make apple sugar, basically an apple flavored sugar that you can sprinkle on toast in the morning and that kind of stuff, or use on top of muffins, things like that. So we're going to be making that. And then we will be using the cores and the peels to make apple cider. So I'll insert some clips and do some audio because, or voiceovers, because we are going to be using our juicer and that does get kind of loud. So I'll be showing you that. And then I'm always super prepared, and I have a million things in my house, and my kitchen's pretty stocked. But I went to make my apple cider and I knew that I had stuff in the fridge for it. Why wouldn't I? And it turns out I don't. So I have to run and get some cinnamon sticks because I used them all in our body care series. Totally forgot that I did. And I need an orange. And I'm I can get away without the orange. Use a lemon or something, right? It'd be fine. But we kind of need cinnamon in cider or it doesn't work. So I'm going to have to run and get that stuff. So I'm going to, anyway, you don't need to know all the details on that, right? Anyways, I'm going to let my applesauce, which we're not talking about in this video, except I'll probably mention it 75 times. So these are just going to dehydrate. Once they're dried out, I'll show you guys how to make our apple sugar. And then our cider is just chilling over there. I'll get to it as soon as I get back from running to get the stuff I need for it. Poor planning. It's fine. Okay, so here I am. I'm using our juicer to basically all of the peels and cores that were left over from our apples. I'm juicing them to get them masticated down basically, and also I will get the benefits of the juice out of them. If you don't have this, you can run it through a blender with a little bit of water.
or you can skip this step completely and just boil the heck out of them when we do our cider in the pan. This step is really dang easy, but if you have a juicer, it's a great time to pull it out because nobody uses their juicer as much as you would think, right? Anyways, my son moved out and took our other juicer, so we did get a new juicer. It's just a different style. We're liking it, but here we are, just doing our cores and our peels until we get some juice. Then we're gonna go make cider.
So we juiced our apples, and what I split between 2 pots just because it was not gonna be able to fit any water, and so that would have been bad. So into each pot, by the way, we're making apple cider in case I forgot to say it. Into each pot we have 1 orange. You just cut it in half and plop it in there. You have 3 cinnamon sticks going into each one. And then nutmeg. A lot of people have powdered nutmeg in their house. Nutmeg traditionally comes in like a nut, right? And so we use these instead of we use fresh grated nutmeg instead of other powdered nutmeg. So we had these laying around. It should be 1 in each pot. If you don't have that, you can do just a little bit of powdered. You don't need a ton. Then we've got cloves and allspice going in. You've got 1 teaspoon going to each pot. Ooh, too much. Don't do too much cloves or you're going to be like, wow, cloves can get intense quickly. Then we've got allspice. Think of like when you get those like simmer packs that have all the spices in them. That's kind of the spices we're going for with this guy. All right, that was allspice, by the way, just whole allspice. And we're going to throw that on the floor. All right, what I love about my spice rack being right here, we have a second spice rack on the end of this cabinet along with that one. 1/2 cup of brown sugar going in. So I told you earlier we're smoking meat. Well, my husband woke me up this morning because I forgot to make brown sugar and the jar was empty, and he tried so hard. He said he could do it. So I jumped up and made brown sugar really quick this morning because I want smoked meat in my life. So, okay. So that's all our ingredients that are going to go in except for water. Let me get a little bit of brown sugar that spilled. Whoop. So I have some water here just in a pitcher. And I'm just going to add this into our mix. It's about a little more than 1/2 gallon going into each one. Kind of to where you feel like it can loosely be stirred and do its thing. And I'm going to bring those, I'm going to put them high, bring them to a boil, and then turn them down so they're just like a nice simmer. Let them simmer for about 2 hours to infuse all of our flavors in there. That'll infuse our apple, our oranges, our cinnamon. It'll give you like a lovely cider, essentially. So we're going to let those just kind of do their thing, and that's it. I'm going to get a little more water to finish that one off. But there you guys go. That's our cider that we're making. So trying to think if I forget anything. No, I don't forget anything. If you don't like any of the spices, just omit them. It's not a big deal. Okay, it's been a long day so far, and it's not over. Anyways, I'm back to applesauce, and our dehydrator is still going. So it's just one of those days. As I was making the applesauce, which I said I would not mention again, but here I am. I realized that I made you guys applesauce, but I never showed you how we can applesauce. Did I? I don't think so. Anyways, it's the same as our pear sauce. Sorry, I have bread rolls going. Dinner rolls. That's what I have going. This is what our basically 40 pounds of applesauce looks like. It's got some sugar in it and lemon juice and water. And that's all I added to it. I think I added maybe a cup of sugar for the whole thing, a cup of water, and it's like a 1/2 cup of lemon juice. That maybe a little bit more than that. But just kind of let it whirl. But basically, to can these, I do pint jars, and I water bath can them for 20 minutes. That's it for applesauce. It's really easy. I'm excited to see how much we get. We made the pear sauce recently, and it is good. It tastes like custard. It tastes vanilla-y. It's very strange. So we're excited to have apple in our repertoire because we eat a lot of it. But that's how we make applesauce. Then I won't mention it again. Yeah, right. Our cider is just about to boil, and our dehydrator is still running. So it's been a long day in the kitchen. I realized that I thought I doubled the recipe. I did 4 times the recipe. And so I did go back and add some more spices and cinnamon and oranges and kind of bulk it back up to where it should be, because I tasted it after an hour and I was like, something's not right. Well, now we're good. Now it tastes like cider. It is very like spicy, not spicy, not like jalapeno spicy, like spicy like cinnamon spices. What is she talking about? I told you guys it's been a long day. I've been in the kitchen for like 12 hours today. And we just had a huge dinner, and I ate my own body weight in smoked pork. So, yay. Anyways, I did my first pot of cider, and I got 4. I'm doing these in quarts, guys, just because I'm literally out of jars in my house. So if I do any more canning, which I really want to do some tomato like marinara sauce, I'm out of jars, so I'm gonna have to buy some. Well, I already had to buy some. I'd have to buy more. I guess it's a good problem, right? Anyways, so I have my, you guys told me it's called a ricer, or I don't even know. I call it a cone colander. Whatever you want to call it, you guys. It's fine with me. I don't know. Whatevs, right? So we're just going to strain our juice. I'm going to do a couple with a ladle just until this gets to where I can lift it a whole lot easier. So I just have this lined with a flour sack towel. I'm out of cheesecloth as well. I'm doing really well at making sure that I have stuff on hand for the recipes I need, right? Anyways, welcome to it, right? This is real life on Little Hill Homestead. So I am just going to strain this off till I can lift it, and then I'm just going to fill my jars. So juice doesn't take very long to water bath can. You water bath can it, which is going in the back, by the way. It doesn't take very long to water bath can. Some people say 5 minutes. To me, that doesn't seem like enough. My juice is very hot going in, so we have that. I like to do it for like 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure I'm good. Juice is, it's going to come to a boil very quickly, so I probably will do this for 10 minutes. But that's all we're going to do is just strain this, and here, let's see what we got. Can she lift this thing? It's like a whole lot of juice. So I do want to tell you, like I said, I bulked up the spices and the sugar and did my recipe to the right quantities. If you feel like it's not appley enough, you can add a splash of apple juice to it if you have some just already on hand to make it a little more, give it some oomph. Because with using peels and cores, it can get a little diluted when you do as much water as I did. That was my own fault. I have a second bowl just over there to catch. And that's all I'm going to do, you guys, is just fill these up. So when you go to use this, you could just pop them in the refrigerator. You can heat it up and have a hot cider. It's kind of just, what do you like? What do you like to do with cider? The other thing that you can do with this is, and this is what I will typically do with it, is I'll open it and, we'll drink some, but if you boil it down even further, it's one of those words. If you boil it down even more so than we already did, it'll become much more, my husband's laughing at me. It'll become much more concentrated. And so you can use that to do like apple cider donuts or apple cider scones, any kind of baking stuff. You would use this instead of your liquid, and you would get that apple cider flavor that is so, fall is here, right? Can't get away from it. So can you imagine an apple cider donut with a maple glaze? That might be good. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just going to keep straining this down until I'm out. And then what I do is I fold up my towel and wring it out basically to get the last of the juices out, because we want all the goodness we worked so darn hard for. So that will be our cider. Like I said, water bath can it, 10 minutes. And that's it for the juice. Then we're done with the juice, y'all. Done with the juice. And then our peels are not quite done. And it's getting late. Like I said, I'm ready to be done. So I think I'm going to show you the apple pie sugar tomorrow is what I'm going to do. So I'll let this run overnight. It's on a low temp, so it won't hurt anything. So that is it. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. All right. Whew, it's hot in here too. See you in the morning. I'm a big liar. I said I was going to do this tomorrow, and then I'm like, you know what? I have to wait for my stuff to water bath can. My last batch is going in right now, so I'm going to jam through and show you guys how we make our apple pie spice. Nope, that's not what it is. It's apple sugar, apple pie sugar. So you can do this in either your blender, food processor, or coffee grinder. Your choice. My coffee grinder is just super easy and lightweight, so that's what I'm using. So this is how it comes out of my dehydrator. It's just kind of a dried mess, right? So I kind of just, hoping you can see this. I scrunch it with my hands like that to get it small enough to fit into my coffee grinder. Then I fill my coffee grinder up and let her whirl. Okay. I do shake it a little bit while I'm doing it just to make sure it's all incorporated. Let me see. I figure I'll show you one and then I'll go do the rest of them and not torture you. Can you tell football's on? Yeah, you can. So I do that and then I kind of just shake it. Okay, that's it, you guys. Let me show you what it looks like. Look at it. We have apple powder. Oh, isn't that cool? So I'm just going to do that with all my apples. I'm going to get these all done, and then I'll bring you back once I do to show you the next step. I dehydrated. I didn't dehydrate. Yeah, I did dehydrate. I dehydrated and ground all of our apples. See, it's literally just a powder. I got 1 cup exactly on the nose. So I'm going to put my 1 cup into just a bowl. To that, we are going to add 1 cup of sugar. I like to do equal amounts of apple and sugar. You can do a little more sugar if you want. It's kind of up to you. And then to that, I like to do about a tablespoon of cinnamon. I like to do it similar to what you would do for cinnamon toast, but then the apple is in there. And then you just give it a whirl, y'all. So what does this remind me of? Do you remember those apple chips from like the 80s and 90s? They're just basically dehydrated apple chips. This is like the powder, the dust that is at the bottom of the bag. That's what those apples end up tasting like. I can't remember what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the US, you know what I'm talking about. So you just end up stirring it together. The apple will be evenly distributed with your sugar and your cinnamon. What do we do with this? I like to put it on toast, you guys. English muffin with a little bit of butter in this, and it just has this nice appley note to it. I keep it just in a mason jar. Keep it sealed. That apple will want to absorb moisture, so it's best to keep it kind of, covered, tightly sealed. There you guys go. That is our apple pie sugar. You can use it on, think of like an apple muffin or an apple bread, sprinkle this on top of it. It just gives it a little extra punch of flavor. If you want extra cinnamon, man, that light is making my hair look more gray than it is that gray. If you want more cinnamon, add more cinnamon. If you want more sugar to lower the apple, you can do that too. It's kind of up to you, but what a cool way to use your scraps, right? Okay. So that is it for this one. I'm going to go put it in a little jar, and then I'm going to come back and give you the breakdown of cost of what all we got out of our apples. Whew, I'm ready to be done. What time is it? 9:05 p.m. Y'all, it's almost bedtime. Okay, let me clean this up. I'll be right back to give you the breakdown. Okay, you guys ready for the breakdown? We ended up with 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, plus we ate one for dinner, 18 jars of our applesauce. I almost corrected it and said pear sauce from the video the other day. My word is late. So I looked it up, and on Azure Standard, a 24-ounce jar of organic applesauce is $5.60. That makes it 23 cents an ounce. So if you were to do the same amount here as there, you would be paying $67.20. Our cost with the apples, the sugar, and the lemon juice was about $39. Our apples were $36.95. So they are kind of pricey, but for organic apples, it's really not that bad. Plus, they're really, really quite tasty. So that was our biggest expense, was our applesauce. But they're all done now. It's delicious too. So let's see, what do we end up with? We paid $39 versus $67.20. So there you go, about half off. So for our apple cider, we ended up with 9.5 quarts. We ended up with one little baby guy. 9.5 quarts or 304 ounces. Azure apple, organic apple cider. A 64-ounce container is $7.44. So if you were to make this, it was about $35.34 if you were to buy it from a place. Our cost, because we used cores and scraps and stuff like that, really all we had was the brown sugar, the cinnamon sticks, the orange, and the spices. My guess is about $6 because we did use quite a few cinnamon sticks. So we're at $6 versus $35.34. Not too shabby, right? The last thing, and this one always surprises me because I just was making this because we like it. This is the apple sugar. So I couldn't find anybody that sells apple sugar. It doesn't exist anywhere. So when I did look it up, though, I found apple powder, and I didn't realize that the dehydrated peels that we had made, ground up, that powder that we ended up with, is actually quite expensive. I had no idea. So a lot of people use that. It's a superfood. It's super high in fiber, and it's really great in smoothies. Who knew? It's a natural sweetener, and it's great for people that are diabetic because it doesn't rise your blood sugar. So it's about 8 ounces, costs about $20. I did not weigh mine, so I'm not exactly sure, but that was just scraps. Like, we were going to throw that in the trash. So running that through the dehydrator and making this, not too shabby, right? I thought that was interesting. I didn't think about that. So I'm like, well, darn it, if I had more peels, I would dehydrate more and try it in a recipe in place of sugar, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, it would not work in coffee because you can taste the peels still. Like, they have a grit to them. If you were to just do maybe apples with no peels, that would probably work even better. But anyways, so this is what we ended up with. I showed this in a video recently. A lady from one of you guys, actually, her name is Deanna, sent this to me. We have an Amazon wish list, and you guys can go see stuff. And if you feel like, hey, I want to support Little Hill Homestead, you guys can send us weird little gifts that we have on there. You can send us anything that you want. It doesn't even have to be from our list. But this was on our list. I didn't even tell you guys that list was up there, and she found it and sent us this. So this is a label maker. It basically has like a string of stickers, like that size right there, that you do it on your phone, which you can't do because I use my phone for filming, but you can create any label you want, and then it just prints them out. And then when your jars are cool, you just stick the sticker and you just pop it on the top of your jar. There's different fonts, there's different borders. This thing is really cool. It's around $20. It looks like it's on sale all the time. Seriously, the size font on the back of it is the tiniest thing. I think it's called Phomemo, Phomemo. I'll link it below. They have different colors and you can get different stickers, but like our applesauce, I did a cute little apple on it. Isn't that cute? And then like our apple, that's still really hot, so I'm not going to pick it up. But I can do different fonts and stuff, so I'm having too much fun. I've printed a million of these labels, you guys. I'm using it on all of our beauty care products that I hadn't finished labeling, plus this, plus we're redoing our pantry right now. So it's an addictive little guy. But it just works with your phone, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So the only thing that doesn't work is it says you can do photos. We try to do that, and it's super blurry. So, but I don't really need a photo that's this teeny tiny on my jars anyways. But overall, this thing is awesome. So thank you, Deanna, for sending it. We're having a lot of fun with that thing. Anyways, that is our apple video for this year. I'm tempted to buy more apples next month to see what else I can come up with for you guys, but we'll see. We'll see what budget allows. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions about any of our recipes, they are linked below. Any video that we ever make, the recipes are always linked below. I try to write them out as best I can for you, so go check them out. Thanks for watching, guys.